Zach Briggs is live in Kerrville, where city officials issued a disaster declaration today. Zach?
Well, destructive flooding has definitely left its mark across the city of Kerrville, but locals, they're keeping strong, looking ahead to cleanup and relief.
This community has resilience and grit.
Flooded and blocked roadways, cars, homes, and businesses thrashed around. The Kerrville community once again dealing with destructive scenes. Mayor Joe Herring joined by city leaders.
Make no mistake, having accurate warnings in time saved lives today.
Emergency crews rescued those stranded in the floodwaters. Many were able to evacuate. Kerrville Police Chief Gerald Haley reminded of last year's tragedy.
We are still reeling from what happened a year ago. Those are not easily forgotten memories. And to have this happen again so suddenly is literally quite devastating. I myself today had someone in my arms crying tears out of fear and sadness.
No deaths or missing persons reported out of Kerrville at this time, although Sandy Carter feels for those two men who died near Comfort and Uvalde.
It's really sad, you know, just to lose anyone in a flood. I never thought floodwaters could be this devastating. But like I say, going back to last year, it will get your attention. 3, 2,
1. Around 3 in the morning, 6 of these towers definitely got the attention of campers and residents along the Guadalupe River. Installed 3 months ago, they were put to the test this week. River Sentry's Joe Swan says while a few towers ended up damaged, the devices initially did what they're supposed to do.
Water detection, lighted egress, 135, 137 decibels at the source. Our main focus is lighted egress and to wake people up.
Disaster relief's coming to Kerrville. Operation Texas Strong is among the nonprofits already getting calls from those in need. The organization collecting food and prepared to donate RVs to people impacted by the floods. For Bobby Krutzinger, it's simple.
You all got to pull together as everyone, especially Texas, and help each other as much as you can. And to show people that people do care and they want to try to help as much as they can.
And right now, it is too early to tell the true extent of damage throughout Kerrville, but city officials say they're hopeful that once the waters do recede, that they are going to be able to assess in the coming days. In Kerrville, I'm Zach Briggs, KENS 5.
Kerrville, the Guadalupe River was obviously a threat, but several other creeks turned out to be big trouble too. Town Creek, for example, which did not flood last year, overwhelmed a Kerrville icon. Sue Kalberg is live with more on damage to Gibson's Discount Center. Sue?
Isis, you know, this is a place that is a tradition, long-standing tradition for locals and tourists alike. Pretty much everybody has loved Gibson's since 1968. And I can't even begin to tell you what kind of treasures they have there. So it was sad because last year, no damage. This year, Town Creek came calling in the worst way.
We lost everything in the parking lot, probably 6 or 7 deer blinds. We lost our dumpster. We had probably 3 or 4 inches of water throughout the entire store. And this is, I think, somewhere around a 15,000 square foot building. So there's a lot of water.
Now, he says a big air conditioner unit was ripped out of one wall, and that gaping hole is how the entire store was inundated. Right away, they started cleaning out the muck. He says there's no way to tell how long they'll be closed, but he knows all of their loyal fans will continue and will return because it's been such a well-loved family tradition here. Now, I have to say that the store is well known for their super fantastic surveillance cameras throughout the store. The cameras have their own Facebook page, and he says once they get power back up, we'll be able to see what happened during the flood as it happened. So we'll be looking for that. Now, coming up at 5 o'clock, we're going to go a little further upstream to the Arcadia Loop. There's an ancient bridge up there that is well loved by locals and tourists alike, and It's a historic little bridge, and sadly it did not withstand the flood. So we're going to take a look at that at 5. Live in Kerrville, Sue Calvert, KENS 5.
Yeah, we wanted to check in with Rania. She is standing by with someone there in Kerrville who she's been speaking with. Rania.
Audrey Berry, and before I get into that interview, just within the last couple seconds, we saw what appeared to be a completely orange helicopter, and I just searched it up real quick. It appears to be from the U.S. Coast Guard, and that is the third helicopter we've seen. We've seen what appeared to be a Black Hawk, Kerrville PD's helicopter, and now what seems to be the Coast Guard. But with me is Courtney Kate Calhoun, who actually lives in Hunt. Courtney, what was it like this morning?
Last year, all over again. Let's see, sentry alarms, flood alarms started going off around 4 in the morning. By that time, we'd had torrential downpour, lightning, terrifying lightning. The alarms went off for about 20 minutes, and pretty much as soon as the sun came up, a lot of people came out. But I've had contact with people down in Hunt, all the way past Camp Mystic, all the way to Center Point. And pretty much everywhere is evacuated to higher ground as long as it's close to the river. Anything out of what flooded last year is pretty much shelter in place.
I mean, it must be deja vu.
Yeah, I'm in a state of shock right now. Currently trying to decide and figure out if that barge is the one that came from Ingram or if it's from Kerrville. It's deja vu. I can't believe it's happened all over again. And it's not hitting the same places that it hit last year necessarily. It's hitting the places that didn't get hit. So really, from here down is kind of the worst of what it's becoming.
You know, here, the water, by the time I got here, wasn't as high as it was the last year. Would you say that was the same case in Hunt as well?
Yeah. So it's rising a lot slower, but it's still rising fast. If you compare it to last year, it's at a glacial pace. But for what is happening, it's already gone over the river across from the old Heart of the Hills. It's crossing on to Heart of the Hills. So that's right below Camp Mystic. So anywhere past there, they're kind of locked into where they are. And where I'm from at Roddy Tree Ranch, I can't get back to there right now. So.
You know, it seemed like the hill country, Kerrville, Hunt, Ingram had just started really getting back their feet. You know, 4th of July was celebrated to some extent this year. Tell me, what are you thinking now with what you've seen so far?
So I finally returned to this park on July 3rd for the first time in a year. And last night at 7 p.m. I was at that overlook watching, and it didn't feel like much. So, again, it's just a state of shock. There's really no way to explain it. It's kind of like a betrayal in a sense. Like, we were so close to getting to where we were trying to get, and you know, I'm just gonna start over, praying that it's a good start over and that no one's missing. That's what I'm on standby for, with the Center Point Fire Department and kind of Ingram, just waiting to see if people are missing.
And you assisted with search and rescue among the many people who came to volunteer to help. Are you prepared to do that again at this point?
Yes, ma'am. A lot of us became certified in ground search and recovery. I'm a field medic now as well. Some of us, especially at the Center Point Volunteer Fire Department, got swift water rescue training. So people are a lot more prepared. I would also say people evacuated a lot more quickly. So as soon as, I don't remember this from last year, but it was called a flood emergency warning. Instead of just flood watch, flood warning, it's emergency. As soon as people started getting that, they evacuated. So everybody kind of seems to be a little bit more prepared. But it's still a shock, you know? You just don't think it's going to happen until it's happening.
And you were saying different parts of the area were hit. Are you expecting, I mean, obviously water is receding now. Are you able to see images for what the state looks like at this point, or no?
I haven't been looking, but I am in contact with a couple meteorologists, and they have called and told me to prepare for it to come back up quite a bit. They said the rain's going to go on and off like this. And again, whenever it stops raining, that doesn't necessarily mean that the water's going to stop rising, because it takes a while to catch up. I mean, I have heard it's terrible. It's even getting down to Medina and Utopia. Uvalde is just terrible. So it's going everywhere. And yeah, there's just no words. It's shocking.
I appreciate it. For those that are watching at home, one last thing, what would you like them to know?
At home, affected by the flood, or at home anywhere?
Anywhere.
Oh my goodness. Well, if you know people near the river, ask for their locations. Cell phone locations really help. And honestly, just if you get a warning, if you get an emergency warning, especially today, just go. I was down located in Ingram, and some people did not want to go, some went, some didn't. And the ones that don't go, it kind of leaves an uneasy feeling in your stomach. But if you get that warning, go. If you're watching from all around the world, again, it's just a shock. There's no way to really predict this happening again. So it can happen to anyone, and just be careful. And please pray for our community. Please pray for people to evacuate and not be missing.
Thank you so much for speaking with us. And again, officials have also been emphasizing that to heed the warnings, stay off the roads, and of course be weather aware. Turn around, don't drown if you are on the roads. Again, just a shocking situation all around, and Hunt as well, as we just heard. Barry, Audrey, sending it back to you.
Tonight, several residents in Boerne are dealing with the aftermath of flash flooding along Civilo Creek. An apartment complex off Hirsch Road near River Road, just a 5-minute walk from the creek, had significant flooding. Multiple vehicles were damaged, and one resident had to evacuate her apartment. Reporter Troy Kless joins us live in Boerne. Troy?
Yeah, Isi, so this part of Civilo Creek behind me here along River Road is calm at the moment, and it actually has gone down a little bit since yesterday, but some Boerne residents describe a frantic experience trying to retreat from those floodwaters.
Downstream from Civilo Creek in Boerne is where Mary Uresti and her husband live. This apartment complex with debris scattered around, caked onto the concrete and nearby buildings.
Stressed, stressed out. I'm exhausted.
This is what the parking lot at the complex looked like Wednesday, forcing Uresti and her husband to evacuate.
My husband and I, luckily he was home, we grabbed our things and we took our stuff up to the 3rd floor. Just a couple of things that we were going to need. We weren't sure how long it would take.
This is what her apartment sounds like now, with multiple machines blasting air to dry the unit off. Joshua Clayton cleaning out his family's vehicles.
We just had a lot of drainage issues. Everything kind of just flowed in. The stream that's back here just rose substantially, and all of that water just kind of eventually piled up in one location, and our cars were just unfortunately parked right in the middle of it.
He says the flooding did not go down for 4 to 5 hours, and eventually he pushed his SUV and his wife's vehicle out of the water.
You can see kind of like all the dust and like the dirty water debris that like kind of rose. There was water in the cup holders that I vacuumed out.
We emailed the complex management for a statement and submitted the request over the phone. Meanwhile, residents like Uresti continue cleaning up, still in awe of what they experienced due to this creek flowing through town.
Kind of made it a little bit more worrisome, you know, especially because we saw it filling up really quick here. And then, like I mentioned, this street here was flowing like a river.
And Uresti got that drying equipment from complex management. A statement from the property management company tells me that the impacts to that particular complex were limited and cleanup began the same day. Now, as for what's happening right now here in Kendall County, though, some water spots are starting to recede. Emergency officials say that there are still dangerous conditions out there. Reporting live in Boerne, Troy Kless, KENS 5.
Comfort, where conditions have greatly improved. The Guadalupe River has started to recede after coming close to a record high crest. Our David Lynch has been there all day, keeping a close eye on the conditions. David, how's it looking out there now?
Yeah, Henry, like you mentioned, things and conditions have improved substantially here in Comfort. We really haven't seen much rain this afternoon after this morning's torrential downpours, at least in the parts of town that we've been in. Certainly a much needed break for a community whose residents woke up to sirens this morning as the Guadalupe River rose. Officials at the same time stressing that debris can still make it dangerous to navigate Comfort, especially as the Guadalupe continues to recede here, as you mentioned. Now, we did meet a family here, about 40 members strong, some of them from Texas, some of them from as far away as Europe. They were having their annual family reunion at a hotel here overlooking the water until they chose to self-evacuate this morning. We do want to emphasize all of them are safe, all of them are accounted for. We did catch up with one of those family members. He is a Kerrville man who is well aware of the dangers that a rising and roaring Guadalupe can pose.
Well, I was not personally impacted, but all of my, our neighbors and friends and families in that area were very much impacted, and that impact still goes on today. So we're all here safe and sound. Kendall County people are amazing, especially the school district.
A couple days before, we had been out swinging or playing bocce ball, and that's all now underwater, and it comes right up to the edge of the resort, the buildings.
We've been doing this for 40 years, and this may be the most interesting family reunion we've had, having to evacuate the hotel this morning. So.
We're certainly happy that they're all safe, absolutely. Now, Kendall County officials telling us they do expect a wider footprint of property damage in this area. They won't be able to do a full assessment of the property damage until the waters recede even more than they are right now. And another update I want to mention that we just received in the last hour or so, the shelter operations at Comfort High School where we met that family, that will cease operations as a shelter at 6 p.m. today. So in just under an hour, another sign certainly that for now conditions continue to improve here in this part of Texas.
Campers in Kerrville woke up this morning to the loud sirens of flood alert towers. They were installed just a few months ago. KENS 5 reporter Zach Briggs is live in Kerrville to explain. Zach?
It was around 3:30 this morning when 6 of River Century's siren towers got into gear. Their alarms sounding. You have one here, another one in the distance. You have some residents clearing the way for an RV that was impacted by the floods. Now, these siren towers, they initiated what's called a flash flood intervention after detecting high water at Howdy's, where we're at currently, and next door is River Run Campground. This led to alerting everyone at the camp and nearby residents that it is time to get out. It is time to find higher ground. A few of the towers were damaged or lost. River Century's team, though, recovered 3 of the towers and are now working on getting those back online. Installed after last year's deadly floods, River Century's Joe Swan says these flood warning towers were put to test and did their job.
That's our mission, right? No one sleeps. We are all about predictive technology, get as much as we need, as much as we can possibly have to try to predict these weather patterns. But there's been too many times, you can't get it 100%. This is 100%.
And the floods certainly caused a mess out here near the Guadalupe. You see that dump truck, it was tossed around according to locals here. But Swan says innovation is absolutely key. His team working to develop more flood alert technology. Innovation will be the future. In Kerrville, I'm Zach Briggs, KENS 5.
Historic bridge has been severely damaged. This is part of the bridge on Goat Creek between Kerrville and Ingram. Our team coverage continues with our Sue Kalberg with more on what happened to the historic Arcadia Loop Bridge. Sue?
Henry, let me set the scene for you. Arcadia Loop tracks the Guadalupe River just south of Highway 27. And here in town, everybody said, it's really sad, just go there and look at it. So we did. And this is just a quaint little bridge. Nobody could tell me how old it is or how long it's been in service, but it's a local favorite in a big tourist zone, or it was until early this morning. Just take a look at the bite that Mother Nature took out of this piece of history. Not only is the bridge wiped out, but there's other damage to the underground pipes that have been destroyed too. So the fix will not be fast or cheap. And the other issue here is that a portable building business on the high side of Goat Creek was also wiped out. So about a dozen storage buildings were picked up and trashed. and tossed downstream. Now there are some homes and businesses there on the loop, and so there will be people who are scrambling to find alternate routes while the repair work continues. But people said to me that they think that everybody will be able to handle it and they'll get by, but they're just sad. One of many sad things here in the Hill Country today. Live in Kerrville, Sue Calbert, KENS 5.